Audio Jungle. 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 Audio Jungle.
First topic is the role of authorities and the multi-level governance issue. So when I say authorities, it's not only about the regional authorities, which are most of you come from regions or sub-regions, cities, municipalities, provinces, and so on. What is exactly the role and how to make sure that this alignment and synergy is achieved between the various levels. The second topic is about implementation tool. What can we do concretely on the ground to implement our strategies or new directions? What to do? Are the old instruments still valid? Should we have new? Should we have a mix of old and new? What works, what doesn't work? Third point is the continuous EDP, means entrepreneurial discovery process. That basically means involving stakeholders, especially entrepreneurs, but not only universities. Also, what is the role of university, for example? That's one key question. One of our speakers will talk very much about that. Involving users. Now is the time to prepare it already, to draw the lessons of what has been done, but at the same time to prepare the future. So it's not too soon. It's high time.
It was the great occasion to prepare a technological portfolio of our region. It's the need for us to show our partners on a regional level that we are really focused on a few areas which are very competitive in a sense. And at the same time, we can focus on the big pilot projects and cooperation around these areas. And in 2012, we adopt a new regional innovation strategy, risk-free, the new opening, when we are focused on thematic objectives, mostly on three innovation, smart specialization areas, to focus on medicine, ICT, and energy power and energetics. And till now, we have a great occasion to adopt a new smart specialization strategies in 2016. With our partners from, we call it regional networks of specialized observatories, which operate in every areas of regional technological field. The most of them are located in Siberia, and the half of these authorities took part in the process of audits, innovative audits for building local strategies, innovative strategies. So we shared our experience from regional level on the local to the local units. So it's a great occasion to make some ideas for the future projects. So it's one of the ideas of multi-level governance.
Thank you.
When I talk about entrepreneurial discovery, I mostly start with my kind of personal belief. My personal belief is that I think that entrepreneurial discovery, the concept, should be taken quite literally. That means that entrepreneurial discovery is basically about a group of actors, businesses, knowledge institutes, preferably civil society, who get together and who try to find discoveries, new possibilities for development of a region. And having said that, it's my belief as well that this entrepreneurial discovery, it shouldn't be limited to the kind of strategic or strategy level. When you implement the entrepreneurial discovery process to reach a certain conclusion about which priority areas to support. But in my belief, this entrepreneurial discovery should take place as well at what I call the ground level, the lowest floor, in the sense that actually businesses, knowledge institutes get together on a daily basis, involving themselves in projects, in initiatives, with the aim to really find a new discovery, a new development, which, if recognized and supported well, can kind of grow into a niche area or new potential strength of an economy. So this is what I believe is about what continuous EEP is about. And when you look at my region, the Northern Netherlands, over the past few years, we have created several what I call innovation environments. They may be physical places, like living labs or innovation hubs, but we have as well non-physical initiatives, collaborative initiatives, basically where these actors, businesses, knowledge institutes, and sometimes even the end users, civil society, get together on a daily basis to really find new areas of development.
Willing to get involved in let's say more experimental activities, get out from the comfort area, invest in product innovation, in process innovation, and get collaboration with other categories of stakeholders. We have the support of the Joint Research Center, DG Regio, and our colleagues are always encouraging us how to drive this dialogue in such a way that we can come to a common approach in the future. Because beyond 2020, we do hope this smart specialization strategy will become a big component for our region, as now it is included in the regional development plan as the economic development component. Just one issue about the implementation, if you may allow to me. We have moved to the operationalization by identifying projects for smart specialization in all the areas, and now we have selected 22 projects which, like in the case of our colleagues in Northern Netherlands, are specific projects where we are integrating the innovation value chain. So we are not speaking only about discovery and research, prototyping, but we are speaking also about connecting with the market and with the enterprise that is going to implement that discovery. And this is already a call of proposal dedicated to the region from the Regional Operational Program. It's a pilot initiative in Romania with 50 million euro, and I do hope it will be a success.
And now I would like to ask Christina to tell about the experience in Aragon.
We would like to grow in a knowledge-driven economy. We are sure that we are now in a knowledge-driven economy, and also to be more competitive in a global economy. And this instrument has been created last year under the guidelines of the European guidelines. We are one of the digital innovation hubs that are included in the E3 platform, in the catalog, in the European catalog. And one of the difference between us and other digital innovation hubs in Europe is that we have created this instrument with a model top-down. And why? One of the reasons is that we would like to align all the actions developed by this hub to really align, to really connect with the smart specialization strategy in Aragon. And we would like also that all this participation, this business participation in the digital innovation hub turn into an opportunity to influence also in this strategy. So it's an instrument that will be supported on business, because it's business which must create the new products to be competitive in this new economy and to grow, to contribute to the economical regional growth. But these businesses are in some way empowered by this instrument, because they will have the opportunity to influence more, I expect, in regional strategies. And as I have said before, it has been promoted top-down. Some of the promoters are our Technological Institute, that is a competence center that is providing infrastructure, also expertise and knowledge in some technological areas. But also we are collaborating with the public university of the region, with the research, some other research institutions, with clusters, of course, with business. And also we are collaborating, and one of the promoters is the Agency for the Economic Development of the region, that is taking care in some way of the aspects that are related with entrepreneurships and also with the financial issues related with starting up new projects and putting new products into the market. And what are we doing now for these companies, for these businesses in the region, in order that they can make us to grow as a region? We are trying that they have more presence in innovation and economic growth program, in Horizon 2020 program. What is really difficult, because in our region the companies are really small, most of them are small companies, and for the majority of them is unthinkable to take part in a large project consortium in Horizon 2020. So we are going with them to participate in some other initiatives, like cascade funding projects that are more addresses to small companies, and that they allow to these companies to test with, to try and to pilot and experiment with cutting-edge technologies, decreasing the risk of these innovation activities, giving them funds, and also providing these cutting-edge technologies. So we are going with them, trying to have more participation in this kind of project, and also we are trying to go with them to different thematic platforms. For example, now we are participating in 2 different thematic areas under the E3 platform. We are a member of the agri-food thematic area, and also we have presented and we have been recently approved a new thematic area related with sustainable mobility under the industrial modernization thematic area, in which we are leaders with also Ile-de-France, the region of Ile-de-France.
How do you cope with resistance to change? Do you face problems of people who are disturbed because you are trying to do something different, to change the focus, to change the instruments? How do you manage to go forward despite those resistances? What are there? How do you deal with them? So anyone can answer, and also bring other points in reactions to what you have heard, just to launch a few questions.
I kind of actually believe that smart specialization is that, what I said, getting together at the beginning of a programming period, finding few sectors to prioritize, then put your money there, and then maybe once or twice during the programming period decide upon maybe change something, and that's it. And I always say, oh, I wish it was like that. It's not that simple. And I think we should all accept that it's not that simple. It's also smart specialization. When it was introduced, it was really, Claire already mentioned it, a rather new concept. Dominique Ferré, one of the founding fathers of the concept, said recently that it's a classical example of kind of practice running ahead of theory. So we're all kind of finding out now what smart specialization is really about. So I think, and that translating that to regions and to my region, I think it takes a lot of explaining to stakeholders what smart specialization is about. And what I do is I always focus more on the process than on the priority choices. Because the priority choices, of course, it's important to focus, but I think what I've seen from many regions and many strategies, that the choices that were actually made were rather broad, and they were sometimes or often limited to sectors. And I think one of the challenges for us, and at least for my region, is how we get to a certain refinement of those areas. And I mentioned in my example, I think fostering continuous EDP, so keeping this momentum among stakeholders is the key to success.
Business-oriented institution and small and medium-sized enterprise is not so easy for us. And even if you are open to the discussion, we should meet in one point. This point is business idea of the people we are talking with. So it's really hard to meet the same idea, but we learn a lot during this process. As a region, we participate in the pilot initiative with World Bank in HDP process, 3 regions from Poland. It was in this process, and we learned a lot from internal experts from World Bank, but we noticed that we need more competences in intermediaries institution, the people who are talking with business, because they should know the barriers, the usual activities, and we are not well prepared to this process, and we are not very in a good position as administration when we are talking with companies, because they are always look at us that we are asking some stressful questions about financing the business, on the future plans. It's real the hard process for us, but we cooperate with observatories which have the great tools for talking with business about the future perspectives, and when we can meet with prioritization of smart specialization strategy, and I hope it will be much more easier for the future perspective, because it took about 5 years to meet the main point of this process.
Perhaps in our case, the most difficult to understand is that in these innovative and cooperating environments, sometimes the most initiative you have, the most ideas you have, the most efforts you put, the most you give, the most value you give, the most opportunities you have to success. And sometimes it's not directly related with your position or with the size of your company or the size of or the position of your body, the body you belong to. And this is a new model, more open, more participative, and perhaps is the most difficult to understand.
Yeah.
I will translate Mr. Mayor's words. Okay. As Levan Pasha municipality, we try to promote and encourage green jobs, but the biggest risk is the resistance of the traditional manufacturing sectors. Traditional production pattern in our greater region is the big factory-based industry, but the big factories and this factory-based industry has many drawbacks, such as the pollution that we don't want. Rather, our growth plan is more green, and thus we prefer to attract high qualified people. Thus we cooperate with university students, for example, for encouraging them towards social entrepreneurship. We cooperate with chambers and try to create synergy for green and innovative growth in our city. And to this end, our priority sectors are the port-related activities and the winery sector, We invest in these sectors for a greener and better future for our inhabitants.
For instance, we gathered some pluses and minuses about the Interreg. Some of the pluses, of course, there was a total agreement that we get a lot of knowledge through this. Also, the process is very important, not only the result of the project, so not only the policy we learn, not only the policy tools, but also how we do it, how we enlarge our network, and so on. A few people identified also some minuses, and the minuses are mostly regarding the administrative burden. Sometimes the lack of money when it comes to the digestion of the policy in the territory. But there's also a good news, because actually the Commission is considering to create some investment packages for the Interreg, so the future might be brighter.
It was really interesting to talk with all of you and to see how different are realities in our regions, but at the same time how we have many things in common. One of the things we found discussing about the role of authorities and multi-level governance was in the development of the regional smart specialization strategies, the S3, was that at the end what actors feel is that there is a gap between the priorities that are set sometimes at the national level or at the regional level, and then the priorities that exist in reality to local authorities and to local actors. And we talked that maybe some of the solutions could be to have mechanisms to coordinate better the different levels of authorities, and as well maybe to have European funding for this coordination, so to help the strategic capacity of authorities so they can coordinate better between them.
Entrepreneurial discovery, on creating continuity in this process. The question I asked all the participants: how do you keep the momentum? So how do you keep stakeholders involved or get them involved? And my conclusion is that we are all facing the same issue. We are not alone, but in our approach we differ, also maybe a bit in the stage we are in, the phase we are in. Some are a bit further than others. But I heard a lot of examples about how regions actually try to particularly connect businesses to research institutes. Different initiatives, different projects are being taken, implemented all over Europe. Some are really taking kind of individual approach, where regional authorities are actually approaching individual SMEs to inform them, to convince them, to ask them to get involved.
I felt is that many times we have our own focus. So I'm from a regional, I'm into regional development because of we deal with ERDF. But then here at the table I also found some people who were more oriented on the university level. And then they said, and they were very precise, and also I heard it from Portugal, the convergence between the European priorities and the European or the United Nations goals to 2030. It's very, very important because it gives a kind of common language to us all. And also the difference between that smart specialization seems to have an approach which is more business oriented, and the UN goals are more individual more on citizens oriented, which also gives a different approach.
I know that in each sector, even if we are talking today about the region, it's not easy to stay and establish one common strategy for monitoring, because each system in each country is completely different. Even if we can let's say set up, like we were talking before about nice dreaming table platform for exchange our knowledge, because in my opinion still we have very big problem with transfer of knowledge in each sector. We are not communicating enough to obtain a certain goal. So I suggest to start from exchanging our opinion, our mistakes. Maybe it's a good idea to establish a common platform, European platform. Even after this meeting, we can establish such platform to tell what we were meeting before on each step of the project. Or
I would like to request a huge applause for our shadow moderators and for you as a public, and thank you for this amazing discussion. So huge applause for everybody.
I had a nice statement, and I don't know who said it, but this person said that the minds are working like parachutes. They only function when they are open. And I think that's what we saw in this session. And thank you very much. It has been a pleasure to be with you and to discuss and to pave the future. Thanks a lot.